Welcome to round 6 here, Mono Blue Dreadnought versus Gro-a-Tog. Two very powerful decks, and two decks with tons of answers and tons of way to dig to those answers. So this will probably be a grindy matchup. I do not know who ends out winning, but we will definitely see that. First off, we will take a look at the two decks. The first deck we have here is the Mono Blue Dreadnought. It's a Dreadnought deck that takes advantage of being able to sideboard into a land destruction deck with the Tides. It is very good at what it needs to do. It needs to play the Dreadnought and protect the Dreadnought, and it can play it turn 2 and it can play it turn 20. It depends on the matchup, so you definitely need to be a good pilot here. This deck also contains two factories, so there is another win con except the Dreadnought plan. In some, or in one matchup at least, you can go for the mill plan, but this is not what's going to happen in this sort of matchup that we will see here. The sideboard is looking pretty interesting in this matchup here. Here's the Gro-a-Tog list. This list has trimmed down on Fire Ice, only playing 2, and it plays 2 Mystic Enforcers, which is the new tech. I know some podcasters out there who has brought this up in the latest couple of months, and I will not say how the matches go, but you will see at least one in play at some point or another. But then the classic counterspells, Gush and Opt, and then the swords, which all make the Dryad grow. The original lists played 2 Atogs, or not Atog but Psychotog, but this deck does not include those since they have the Mystic Enforcers. The Meddling Mages will be relevant in this sort of matchup if you are able to name the correct cards. So I hope that this will be a tight one. You can see down on the timer that it's going to be a long match at least, but let's get into round 1. Getting into the first game here, we do see a mulligan from our Gro-a-Tog player here. And then we see our Dreadnought player actually changing out his basics. We were handed out some stamped cards in this event, and most of us put them in our decks when we got them. But the Dreadnought player is playing against one of the TOs with his Gro-a-Tog deck here, so I think it's from respect that he changed them. And I can see the life counter up on the top here is not in the video frame, so unfortunately we cannot follow life totals that easy. But for the Dreadnought player, it's 12 damage per hit, unless there are some blocks, and we'll see some chip damage from the Gro-a-Tog player here. But a lot of drawing cards, filtering, and playing lands here is probably a classic start. Third up here. Okay, now we do see the first City of Brass. Looks like a black bordered 7th edition. Unless it's a foil one, but I don't see any foil glare, so it's probably just black bordered. But my favorite City of Brass, especially here in the Premodern format. Okay. Goes to discard here. A handful of spells since no land drops were made. And the discarded card is a Dreadnought. Flash of Insight for 1. Pretty solid card when it's in your graveyard at least. And the Gro-a-Tog player does the smart thing of fetching when The Stifle player is tapped out. Don't know if it matters, but at least he knows that he will get his land into play for sure. Continuing on here, there's not much action in this part of the game here. Hopefully, okay, we do see the Dreadnought player trying to resolve the Dreadnought here. And it resolves, and there's a Stifle. And there's a Sword to Plowshares in response. Gush is on the stack here. Gush resolves. And we see a foil on the sword here. Discarding Island Accumulated Knowledge. That's what you want to discard here. And Stifle still on the stack here. Foil is gone. Sword is gone. He tries to counterspell it. It's countered. Okay. It is counted indeed. And the turn is passed. On to Gro-a-Tog player. Does he have anything that he wants to resolve? Probably a Dryad, which is counted right away here. The players are taking the turn quite fast, which is nice. Being a post-game commentator. So what now? A Meddling Mage. It's countered. So we're just trading here. Third land and a Portent. A Portent is a very important spell for this deck, so okay, it's a shuffle. Okay, last opt of the deck. In the end step. And Portent on this side of the battlefield as well. I believe it's the second one cast here. A ton of spell has been cast for the Gro-a-Tog player. He chooses to shuffle the deck. Tries to resolve a Sylvan. That is a huge play here, since Dreadnought hits for 12 per attack, so you can actually get some free draws from your Sylvan here. And the Keg is deployed. Chooses to take a bonus card and passes the turn. And a counter is added. Powder Keg on 1, should be on 2 because he can take both the Dryad and Mages. Life total is updated. And he says 9. Okay, now we see a clock for sure. It's a 6/6 Pro Black Flyer. And Flash of Insight is now showing why it's a huge card, because he can dig very low here and find the spell that he might need. Yeah, and he found a card. Okay, tries to return the flyer here. In the step. Powder Keg on 2, which is probably where he wants to be. If you don't have an answer for the flyer though, it could be worth putting it up to 4, but that's a slow tactic, especially against a deck that can remove it from the battlefield. Okay, Dreadnought deployed with Vision Charm, so right now it's faced out. Let's see how it is handled, if it's handled at least. Well, that is fetching here. Okay, some confusion here, but it's still in the turn of the Gro-a-Tog player on the right here. Dryad is deployed. He's at 7 life here, so he cannot take a single swing. Sends the turn in. The end step, we have an impulse. Swords to Plowshare in the upkeep. Hardcast foil. Another sword. Drawing the Dryad here, but the Dryad is checked with... Yeah, okay, a factory is nice. Yeah, it's checked with the Powder Keg, I was about to say. Factory is nice here, since Gro-a-Tog player is on very low life total, playing a Gush, floating the blue mana. We know that he has a threat in hand that could be nice to get down here. Yeah, and then we see it. Swings for 5. This is where you want to be for the Gro-a-Tog player. Okay, putting it up to 3 here. No? Yeah, we are not playing on a high level here, so taking back where you want to be with the Powder Keg is, and when you want to put counters on it, is very loose. It's a friendly atmosphere here, which many of the players do like. A Mox is deployed here and a swing for 12, popping the keg, so he takes 6. Okay, swings and puts him down to 4. So he has lethal on board here. Another Dryad is cast. Luckily, he has a non-City of Brass color for the Dryad here. He has taken a ton of City of Brass damage this game. Sylvan here. Portent. Draws a Portent in the upkeep here. It's now the turn of the Dreadnought player. Let's see where this game goes. Okay, turn is passed again. Meddling Mage is cast here. It resolves. It's on Phyrexian Dreadnought. Land drop. And nothing. Icing a factory. And Sylvan trigger here. This doesn't look good for the Dreadnought player. It's almost looking like game here, unless he can Chain of Vapor some. No, I think he only played one Chain of Vapor. So the pressure is on here. Deploying another Sylvan. Just for good measures. Don't know why he deployed it. Portent. Sending the turn back. Deploys another Mox. Yeah, discarding the City of Brass. Okay, here's a Dominate. Tapping out for Dominate here. Daze. No. Loses to Daze as Dreadnought. That's unfortunate. Okay, so 104 for our Gro-a-Tog player without any attacks. Now starting game 2, the sideboard game. We see a mulligan on the right here. Again, chooses to mulligan for the good hand is a skill. Let's hope it pays off. We see islands dropping and opt. We see City of Brass. Do we see a quick threat here? We do see a quick threat, so he probably has some answer for the Dreadnought in hand. And thankfully the players has seen on the screen right next to them that the life counter was not visible on the screen. And Mox is played, swings for 1. So he has a 20 turn clock, that's at least something. Could be good enough against Dreadnought. Let's hope for some more action though. No, islands are just dropping. 18. And now we see the flash of insight. Super powerful. Especially in a game that can go long because the flashback cost is so cheap. And a mono blue deck that's almost an auto include if you do cast a lot of cantrips. Okay, turn is just passed back again. Goes to 17. Tries to dominate it. Let's see. We do see a counterspell. It's countered, and now he should take 2. Mystic Remora. Okay, we will just put that on the screen right now. And a Tide. Very problematic, but he does have a Mox, of course. That could be Chain of Vapor, but he takes 2 lands here. Swings for 2. Goes to 15. Probably hoping for no factories. And putting up an island for the upkeep cost, the cumulative upkeep, Gushes. Portent for 1 of the floating manas. Looks like a difficult decision. Would love to know what the decision was about. He chooses to shuffle. And more action is coming with an island here. They're discussing why he's on 19 because he didn't fetch, and the City of Brass is the answer, of course. He used that for green mana. Or Counterspell, I don't remember. You could go back and watch, but attacks for 13. 2-13. And Flash of Insight in the end step. Has to pay the upkeep cost here. Chooses to. It's not often you see the Mystic Remora outside of Commander games, so I like seeing it here. We also saw a sweet little sideboard tech from the Dreadnought player in the last game that we saw from him. Okay, swings to 11 here. Discarding. Okay, went to discard, but there was some action before that, wanting to flashback Flash of Insight. Setting up the deck here, and then in discard, we see Gush discard here. Yeah, this is tough. And the last counter is removed on the Tide here, so the land will get back to the Gro-a-Tog player. And now factory, that's not where you want to be with a 2-2 fetch land. Just checking if it can pump itself, but if you animate it, it still has summoning sickness, so it cannot pump itself yet. Looks like he passed the turn here. Stifle on the return part of the Tide. Does he choose to fight here? No, he just let them stay in exile. That's a 2-for-2, but destroying the mana here is strong against such a mana-hungry deck with all those different pips of mana. And the Remora goes okay, Annuls the Mox, stifles. He's just on the Pouncer game here. Stifles the fetch land, playing out another fetch and swings for 2. The Dreadnought player knows that there's something up here because he's attacking into a factory that can pump itself. But let's see what happens here. Okay, blocking. And in response to the pump, he sorts it. Counterspell here. Fighting over this combat. Treading here. Okay. Playing a Treva's Ruin keeps priority or holds priority and fetches. It's stifled. Stifle is counterspelled. Hardcast foil. Oh, whoa. So many lands have gone to the graveyard here. This is just mono blue Ponza. Okay, flashes back for 8 here. So looking at 8 cards, chooses one, then puts the rest on the bottom of the library so he knows, or he has a good idea of what's coming in the top part of his deck now, also with the Impulse and the other flash. Gushing here. AK for 1. Playing out a Sylvan here, but it's annulled. Of course, there's an answer, and then the AK for 2 now. Now, this is not looking good. Okay, we are going to the third game here. 1-1 for this close match. We are now entering the third and final game of this match, and they are presenting the deck to each other but choosing not to cut. An island is dropped, another land here, and a mage is dropped. Opt, looking for a free spell here. Yeah, there's a foil. Just cutting Stifle to that foil. Dreadnought and Stifle. Okay, this is very, very quick. No, he chooses not to Stifle, but to Disenchant. Dropped another basic here. Has all the basics, of course. Upkeep, sword. Yeah, goes to 32. So getting some air here. Does extend the game quite a lot with going to 32. Taking extra card, dropping a Mox. This game is not bad on the mana situation for the Gro-a-Tog player here. Opting in the end step and sees a card that he likes. Sylvan as well. Really looking for some action here. Seeing only 2 lands on the other side is looks like a clear coast. Dropping now, not as huge threat, but it can certainly grow in this deck. It is a grower, I would say. We saw the 6/6 flying pro black in game 1. Okay, so drops down something to block with. Gushing, floating 2 blue. Portent. Looking at the Dreadnought player's top here. Now, does he remember to draw? Usually you are thinking of what am I going to draw in the opponent's turn, especially if it's an instant, but okay. Flies in here and passes the turn. And he forgets to draw here. Yeah, and he's on 8. He has taken a lot of extra cards here, so he's on 1 Dreadnought hit. Should as well go down to 4. Could, at least, but maybe he is frightened or afraid of the Mishras. Okay, swings for 8. This is fast. See, these players are. I have upped the speed of this clip. If you listen to what they're saying, you can also hear that. But yeah, a quick game 3 here. Gro-a-Tog wins 2-1.